You are going to make your own Matisse cutout, and you're going to use colored paper that your Art Smart teacher is going to give to you. Hopefully the colors are a lot more bright and vibrant than these ones. Matisse actually painted his own papers, so he got loads and loads of varieties of color. But we're going to use this, and remember to use colors that you think pop against each other. Really, really, really nice contrasts. So if you look at some of Matisse's cutouts, you'll notice that he really liked to play with color. He liked colors that stood out and were different to each other. If you're stuck for ideas, blue and orange are opposite colors and they look really good against each other. Purple and yellow look really good against each other because they're also complementary colors. And red and green look great against each other, but you can pretty much play with anything. Put warm colors with cold colors, dark colors with light colors. Do something that looks really fun and really bright. You're going to draw with your scissors, so you're not going to use pencils. Put your pencils away. Don't use pencils. Pencils are just going to make things a lot messier. And also, this is a great way to play. If you make a mistake, it's okay. Matisse cut organic shapes, so shapes to do with nature, leaves, fruits, berries, things to do with the sea, starfish, waves, trees. Here are some ideas in case you're really stuck. He used a seaweed shape quite often, a big wobbly seaweed shape. He used the four-leaf clover a lot. He used flower shapes. He used star shapes for starfish. He used fruit shapes. You can use these shapes if you like, or you can use completely different shapes. You can do whatever you like with this. Make your shapes big, because if you cut them big and you want to go smaller, that's easy. If you make them too small, it's going to get fiddly. You're going to have to use a lot more shapes. It's going to take longer, and you may have to cut things all over again. I think I'm going to go with a flower shape for this. It's actually really nice not using a pencil. Don't be scared at all. I'm probably going to make mistakes with this, but it's all fun. I'm going to do orange against blue because I really like blue. And I've got an orange shape here. I think I'm going to use 4 orange shapes, and I'm going to try and make some kind of symmetrical pattern. Something nice and neat and organized, which I don't normally do, but I'm going to try it this time. Matisse loved patterns. He loved things that were in rows or looked like they'd been tiled. He also did things that didn't look anything like patterns. All depends what you're in the mood for. Now you're only using 1 sheet of paper for the background and 1 color to cut out with. So choose your colors carefully. I think if you finish and you're done early and you want to add a second color on, you can. What I would do is not take a brand new sheet of paper for your second color, but walk around and see if someone has cut out of sheets and use the scraps. That way you're not wasting paper. You're being kind to the trees. This is taking a while, but not as long as if you had drawn it out with pencils. Alright, let's see how things look. When you're done cutting out the shapes that you want, I wouldn't stick straight away. Make sure you don't stick. In fact, don't even have a glue stick on your table until you're ready to stick shapes down. You put your piece of paper down on the table and you lay your shapes out the way you want to have them out. I'm sorry, I have no one to take this video for me, so I'm just gonna, I guess I'll just show it to you once I've laid it out, okay? I'm going to lay out the pieces. I'm going to have a flower on each corner. That's what I want to do today. And I'm going to have a shape in the middle. That's not a flower shape, maybe some kind of fruit shape. This is very similar to something I saw in a gallery. So, you know, it's okay sometimes to draw on stuff that you've already seen. If it gets you started, then that's great. So, let's see. Oh, let's see. That's what it looks like. Okay. When you're happy with the way things look, and when I say happy with the way things look, I mean make sure that your background spaces look interesting. So you don't want to have big blobby spaces. I'll show you an example. When you look at Matisse's work, he looks at spaces between his shapes. He makes sure that the spaces between his shapes look interesting. Sometimes they make shapes themselves. So when you're happy and you don't have too much of your background showing, things look interesting, you can have them really organized like this, or maybe less organized. Then when you're totally happy, you can start sticking down. Quick word about using a glue stick. Do not stick directly, don't use your glue stick on top of your work when you're gluing. Take your piece of paper that you're going to glue, you put it somewhere else, either on the table or on a scrap piece of paper, and then you glue, and you glue around the edges of your shape, because there is nothing messier than all your edges of shapes flapping up, okay? So you glue all the way around the edges, and then you stick down, and you press really hard, rub hard with your fingers. I know if you're an older child, you're thinking, I know this already, but sometimes we don't. Sometimes, if you're younger, gluing can be tough, so glue around the edges and press down hard, and make sure things don't look wrinkly and they're not sticking up. The thing with cutouts is they look ever so much nicer when they are glued cleanly, and that's also the other reason why we don't use pencils. It just looks messy with little smudgy pencil marks all over the paper. Okay. My cutout is not going to be super exciting because I don't want to take too long and bore all of you. I want you to have time to get on with your own project. Okay. I'm sorry, this video is very boring. You're just looking at my sweater, but this is the best I can do. And I'm going to show you the work in a minute. So, right. I've made mine very, very geometric and very symmetrical. And it looks like this. And I like the way my orange pops against the blue. And I think maybe I like the shapes that the background makes. There's like a diamond shape made by the blue. And maybe if I had a little more time, I would stick some smaller shapes in between to make it even more interesting. Maybe some little leaf shapes in between. Here's another one I made earlier on, which has bigger shapes and is less organized, less geometric. I just really love the big wavy shapes, and I stuck them on. Again, looking at the shapes that the purple on the background makes, those shapes are interesting as well. I think if I had time, I would actually cut out little shapes out of another really interesting contrasting color, maybe red, and put little red shapes on top of the yellow. If you have time, you can use a second color. If you don't, the big, bold, simple look also works really, really well. So have fun and play with it. And don't forget, remember the shapes that the background makes as well. That's called the negative space. Okay, thank you.